Welcome back to Mock the Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft and I mock and give you my views, thoughts, and opinions. And we got a special one today as we look at friend of the channel, Bengal. He just put out a new mock draft, so you know we gotta mock that sucker. And by the way, if you haven't checked it out yourself, go ahead and watch his video. I went ahead and watched it, that way I don't butcher his picks or misrepresent his argument there. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up. Enjoy the content as always. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. Special thanks to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring the video. If you like weekly fantasy or player props, and they got college pick'ems now, then use promo code Broshmo when you sign up for Underdog Fantasy. Helps out the channel and it gets you a little head start on Underdog Fantasy. But man, we're looking at Bengals mock today. I'm excited. I'm going to try to go a little bit more in with the team and with the team specifically and where I think they are at. But let's go ahead, start this sucker as he does it 4x4, right? He does 4 picks at a time. Yes, he does. So we're going to start with, this is the current draft order, by the way. This is what he did it off. So if you got a problem with draft order, it's how your team's doing currently. Tell your team to do better. Anywho, CJ Stroud going to the Carolina Panthers. Totally agree with this. Going to be a new regime there. New coaching staff. And you got no quarterback currently as a, well, guy you want to move forward with in the future. No Baker, no Sam Darnold, Matt Corral. You're not even going to get a good look at him, so you're picking first overall. You're going to go ahead. You're going to take the quarterback position. This is kind of a no-nonsense, just a kaderf type of pick. CJ Stroud, for all intents and purposes, is QB1 just because, you know, a lot of guys are going to like that he's got the better size. The Raiders, they go Will Anderson. And you know what? I was looking at some of y'all's comments in my mock draft because I had a tough one with this pick. I think I ended up doing, and this kind of goes with the Steelers as well, because I think I did Jalen Carter for the Steelers, and instead of going Will Anderson, and Will Anderson ended up making it to the Lions pick. And oh no, I remember I traded up with Houston to get a quarterback. Like, I get it. Well, for some people, Jalen Carter is the best non-quarterback prospect in this class. For a lot of other people, it's Will Anderson. He's his, like, can't miss prospect, though. You know, that's kind of a relative term. But I get it. I get going ahead and saying, you know what, let's just gun it for Will Anderson. I don't think you could go wrong with either. It's just, man, Jalen Carter, it just feels like a better need for when you look at teams like the Raiders, who invested in Chandler Jones this offseason. They have Max Crosby. The Steelers, they have TJ Watt. Alex Highsmith's been pretty all right, though. He hasn't been as good with TJ Watt out. So I think you could definitely make a case for Will Anderson at that pick. The draft's all about value. If you feel that Will Anderson is the better pick, then go ahead, take him, or the better value. He's higher on your board, then go do it. I got no gripes about that. So Raiders go Will Anderson. Looks good to me. I love Keely Ringo first and foremost. And I get it. The Steelers' cornerback position, it ain't good. But man, Jalen Carter being here, just like, there's a unanimous for most people top 4 prospects in this class, and it's Jalen Carter. Like, I get it, if you're the Steelers, man, you need to address the secondary. I don't know if you like, and Jalen Carter might not be that sexy of a pick, though. It's like, outside of Cameron Hayward, who's up there in age, what is he, 32? Let me do a quick look-sees. He is going to, oh, he's 33, so he's already up there in age. So it's like, I think Jalen Carter just makes a bit more sense from a value and from a need standpoint, though Keely Ringo, I am high on him. To me, he's a top 10 guy. And then the Lions, they go Bryce Young. And let me go in real quick, because Lions fans, I know a week ago, y'all were going to bat for Goff, and then the Patriots game happened. Listen, and there are some of y'all that are like, no, their defense is so trash, it makes no sense why to add a quarterback. It's like, listen, rookies ain't gonna change the situation of the defense. It's just not. But then, whoa, 2-3 years down the line. Listen, NFL teams want to be better the next year. You know what solves that situation? Bringing in some reliable veterans with cash that you will have from cutting Jared Goff at the end of the year. Go ahead, if you're in a spot to get a top 10 quarterback, go ahead and do that. If you can get a top quarterback in this class, go ahead and do that, especially if it like kind of falls this way. Though Jalen Carter is a bit interested at this pick. Go ahead, get the quarterback, cut Goff. He saves you $21 million in cap space going into free agency. Use that to address this defense that desperately needs more talent in free agency. That way you go into the draft building for the future and getting the best talent available on the board from positions of value such as the quarterback position. To me, it makes no sense that you go in this like, you know what, we really need to address the defense. No, go ahead and attack the quarterback position. You're in a draft class that's much better than the 2022 class at the quarterback position. Address quarterback. Get your guy of the future. You have weapons. You have a good offensive line. The defense piss poor. They're not going to be able to do anything for him. You're not going to do that with rookies. It's nonsense. Jeffrey Okudah, how'd that go his rookie year? No, he wasn't paying dividends till this season. So stop. Just stop. It's not a good philosophy. It's not. Go ahead. Get your guy. Bring in some budget cost vets to help make this defense better. And then address it in the later picks. No sense. I'm telling y'all. Ah, golly gee. I'm all hot and bothered now. But Bryce Young is a great pick here. I love Bryce Young. I know size is going to be an issue. It's not for me. I think he's just a wonderful pick. All right, let's go ahead to the next slew of picks here as we got Jalen Duncan. This is now the outside of the draft network. I've not seen Jalen Duncan this high in the draft, in mock drafts. And he went ahead and said, send it. I like that. I don't mind that. I get it. Jalen Duncan, dude's a pretty good mover, good movement skills. He's got ideal length. He's got the build for the position. He's playing reasonably well this year. In this tackle class, it's kind of up for grabs. Like some might lean Paris Johnson, some might lean Olu Fashanu, some might lean Broderick Jones, some might lean Peter Skoronski. I get it for Washington. I understand, though. I think Leno hasn't been that bad this year. Samuel Cosmi has, I thought, been reasonably good. For me, I don't think tackle's the position. Yes, you can get better there, and I think you just get more value. You got Daron Payne. He's going to be a free agent if they don't trade him at the trade deadline. Jalen Carter might be, I think, the best pick here that's available currently. And then the Houston Texans, they go quarterback Will Levis. Listen, some people are going to love Levis, and people like me aren't going to see him as a top 20 guy, or at least a top 10 guy. They just aren't. That's just how some of us are going to view the quarterback class. So I'm not gonna go off on a difference in opinion. While like a majority of us think, hey, Will Levis is a good quarterback prospect. He's a top 50. He's a first rounder for me, fringe first rounder. I'm not going to dispute that. If you see him as top 10, then go right ahead. The Texans desperately need do something for the long term at the quarterback position, because Davis Mills ain't it. So like Will Levis, go right ahead, go do it. I'm not gonna make a fuss just because I'm not that high on Will Levis. And then this allows the Atlanta Falcons to get Jalen Carter. He falls to them at 7. This is a great value. Get him next to Grady Jarrett. Pass rush is a big issue on this team, though. Like really outside of Willie Anderson and Miles Murphy, who ends up going with the next pick, there really isn't a guy. Like you can make cases for guys like Tyree Wilson, who I just watched a bit more of, and I can see why people are in love with this guy as a potential top 10 pick. I understand it. He still might be kind of like in the later or the first round for me, but I get it. I might just have to get over that holdup I have with him in the Charles Cross game. That I just got kind of questions what happened when he faced other first round caliber talent. Though the dude's been dominant this year. I get it, he's got great length. He's a great athlete. So he'll probably end up into the earlier half of the first round. So I understand that. But Jalen Carter here, it's a great pick. You're just adding great players. He's for a lot of people, a top 4, top 3 player in this class. So it's a great pick. Myles Murphy going to the Texans. I love this pick. I'm a sucker for Myles Murphy. I think he's a physical specimen with a ton of tools that enables a lot of the success on that Clemson defensive line. There is no pass rush outside of Jerry Hughes for the Texans. So adding this is huge. So they get an edge rusher, they get a quarterback. I love this draft thus far for the Texans. So let's keep moving forward with the next set of picks. And then Trent Simpson going to the Eagles. This is via the Saints. And I get it. Eagles fans are going to be like, they haven't drafted a linebacker in the first round in like 40 years. Okay, yeah, that's fair. But, and I get that our linebackers are playing well right now. Like TJ Edwards is like one of the most underrated linebackers in the league. Like, isn't like impressive as an athlete, but just does his job so well. White's playing well. They got Nakobe Dean there. So there's a great case to be made that this pick isn't going to be linebacker, and depending on how you view Trent Simpson, because he kind of has a bit of that, oh man, maybe he's like a Hassan Reddick type of guy that could come off and play very well off the edge as a blitzing linebacker. This guy's great in space. I just don't think linebacker would be the pick for the Eagles, just based on historically they don't do it, and from how I view him more as this like mid to late first round type of linebacker. So inside the top 10, I might be going elsewhere. I think there's a few good corners that you can probably snag at this pick when you have Darius Slay up there in dog years, and James Bradbury is a free agent after this season. And then the Seattle Seahawks. They have back-to-back picks, so let's go ahead and cover them. They get Brian Brazee. I love that pick. Brazee is, I think, a top 10 pick. The dude's been playing really good, has missed a few games, but also it's been because of personal reasons. If you didn't know, his 15-year-old sister passed away from cancer, so a lot going on there. But Brazee's been really good when playing this year. And then they go Cam Smith, who suffered the concussion, couldn't play against Georgia, but outside of that, he's been pretty good for the Gamecocks, easily their best corner, and really fits the scheme for the Seahawks. And I get it. You know what? If you don't feel there's a quarterback in this range, don't go quarterback. And I had this discussion with a few of y'all. And one guy in particular who brought up, why not franchise tag Geno Smith? And I get it. We could have different opinions about this, but let's get into why I think financially that is just irresponsible for the Seahawks. So if like Geno was playing lights out, he is in a contract year. He's going to be like 32, 33 this year. I don't know. He's been in the league like 10 years. It's hard to believe. But Geno Smith is playing lights out. If you could get him back on like a premium backup deal, or like a 1 year proven deal, like 1 year, maybe like I'd be willing to go up to 15 million. Fine, that's cool. You could draft a guy here that you don't have to start right away. It works out. But franchise tagging Geno Smith is financially irresponsible. The franchise tag for quarterbacks, I think, projected thus far this year, it's going to be $32 million. I ain't paying $32 million for Geno Smith. I know he's playing lights out, but you don't do that. If you do that, you're capping yourself in terms of what you can do in free agency to make this defense better, to add talent to your squad. It's just financially irresponsible. Go ahead, draft your quarterback with one of these two picks. See if you could bring back Geno Smith on a 1 year. Like I said, max I'd probably be willing to pay is like $15 million. If you've seen guys like we saw Mike Lennon do that when he hit free agency, in that it was like a 3 year, $45 million deal, but they could opt out after the first year, and it was like a 1 year, $15 million deal. But like we've seen guys come out, perform well after their first contracts, like Mike Lennon, like Matt Flynn. That name should ring a bell for y'all Seahawks fans. Like Are you really going to buy on that? This guy, it's just clicking for him now 10 years into the league. You don't bet your franchise on that. You don't. And then you're going to cap yourself into the talent you could bring in to help this squad. Go ahead. Draft your quarterback. Use free agency to get better talent, not just around him, but on the defense that desperately needs it. And then go from there. But I think one of these picks for the Seahawks has to be quarterback this year. It has to be. And then the Cardinals go Olu Fashanu out of Penn State. He has probably been one of the hottest, biggest risers, definitely among the tackles in this class. Kind of came out of nowhere because he really played a small bit last year. But probably one of the best pass protectors in this class. This dude's been very good. He's done it against good competition. We'll see him against Michigan this week, but he did it against Auburn, who has Derek Hall, Kobe Wooden. But Shanu, where he's really putting it together, is a run blocker. He just doesn't have that nasty in his game. He plays with good contact balance, not necessarily the best leverage though. But this dude's got the length. He's a good mover. Cardinals here though, getting tackle, I get it. You know, you got Humphreys, who's fine. You got Beachum, which yeah, you feel you could upgrade from, but it's like I'm jumping at pass rusher or corner if I'm the Cardinals. Like those are my picks here right now, because the Cardinals defensively ain't getting it done. It just ain't happening. They're not getting to the quarterback, nor are they playing coverage well at the corner position. You got guys like a Joey Porter who fits this scheme very well. You got Christian Gonzalez. Pass rushers, we could talk about guys like Tyree Wilson, who was actually a really good scheme fit. BJ Ojolari, Jared Verse, even Nolan Smith. A lot of people are really high on that kid. I think he's kind of in that fringe first round for me, just because we haven't seen the production ton from him. As a pass rusher, though, it's gotten better the past couple of weeks. So I just like going defensively for the Cardinals. Again, a lot can change. A lot will change. All right, on to the next slate of picks. We have Christian Gonzalez going to the Lions. I like this pick. Keep adding to the defense, the secondary position. Ariwari is probably more so like a depth guy. I know you got Olu for you got Olu. Ifeatu Melifonwu. There we go. You got him. He's a guy you're developing, but just keep adding to the secondary. Like just keep bringing in talent and competition. Christian Gonzalez, he was on Bruce Felton's Freaks list. I think he's done a lot for his stock, especially after the Georgia game. The Georgia game was kind of not rough for him, but it wasn't ideal, but he's been great since then, so I like the pick there. And then we got Peter Skoronski going to the Bengals. I believe Jonah Williams he's got the 5th year, so I think he's got one more year. Leo Collins hasn't been that good this year. So grabbing a guy who has this scheme, like this, not even scheme, but like position versatility. A guy can play tackle. He was recruited as a center. He has guard size. Like the dude's just playing great football. He's easily like playing the best of any tackle in this class. So I like this pick for the Bengals. I think a lot more has for the Bengals offensively has to do with really the play calling and just their not resilience, but reluctance to lean into the play action game, putting themselves in holes on early downs with just very ineffective run plays that go for like a couple of yards, and now you're dealing with these 2nd and 3rd and longs. So like I think a lot has to change offensively in terms of the coaching and the play calling for the Bengals, but added to the offensive line, I'm cool with that. Then Jordan Addison coming here for the Patriots. I actually like this pick a lot. You could say Jackson Smith and Jigba. Jordan Addison's kind of been the best receiver in this class from a statistic standpoint. It's just been a consistent weapon for Caleb Williams. This is a guy that can stretch the field vertically with his speed. Ideally, he's probably more so a slot player, just at his size. He doesn't play with that physicality throughout the route. but what he can also do after the catch is great, and that's ideal for a guy like Mac Jones. And then we move on to the Jags, and I'm a bit indifferent about this because Jackson Smith-Njigba, I think for all intents and purposes, is a slot player in the NFL. He's a slot player in college football. Like, this guy, I don't think he has the high-end athleticism to be able to hang on the outside. They, like, over 90% of the snaps, I think last year, were in the slot. I think this year, once he's able to hit the field, they'll likely be there as well. He's been hampered by a hamstring injury. So you're bringing in a guy who's really would be taking over the role of Christian Kirk. He's mainly operating out of the slot. That's really where Christian Kirk's been making his bread this year, and he's been good at that. So why bring in a guy who doesn't really give you what you want or you're hoping for? Like, I think more ideally you're looking at guys like Quentin Johnston or Keyshawn Boutte, guys that can produce on the outside, that have a little size, that can do a little bit after the catch. So that'd be the type of receiver I'm looking for. I think Jackson Smith-Njigba just conflicts too much with a guy who's doing it well, and they already have him. So yeah. All right, on to pick 17, being the Chicago Bears go Broderick Jones. I like Broderick Jones. I think he's definitely should be talked about as a first rounder. Don't hear him too much though talked about among like the bigger draft community, like the Draft Network, Pro Football Network, and such. But he's done a really good job, and like they got Braxton Jones, who's actually had a pretty solid rookie season. He had a so-so game there for against the Commanders last night, but Montez Sweat's he's a tough assignment. He really is. Larry Borum is a guy that's been very good at right tackle this season after playing well his rookie year. But he is capable of kicking inside. So like Broderick Jones, I like the pick. I get it. If you want to add more pedigree and more competition to that spot, that's all fine and dandy. Receiver is a big need for the Chicago Bears team. And I mean, if they're drafting this like middle first round position, I think that closes the door on this. Like, could they go quarterback? This wasn't Fields isn't Eberflus's quarterback. Could they do that? Because like you gotta admit, like if they're in the top 5 picking, the possibility, it's gotta sit there in the back of your head. It really does, that Justin Fields could get Josh Rosen. I'm just saying that might be a thing. So don't sleep on that. But I don't mind Broderick Jones here. I think it's good value. Especially like, because if you look at like, okay, who are the tackles really emerging in this class? Like Paris Johnson, I think would be my pick because I'm a bit higher on him. But you look at the other side of the ball, or the other positions you need here at like wide receiver, and it's like, okay, you're getting like similar value, so it's fine. Colts, they go Tyree Wilson. For me, this is a quarterback spot. I think Colts, they're primed to, if they want to get like a DJ Uyunglele or a Tanner McKee, those would be the guys. But Tyree Smith is kind of this freak of nature in terms of his length. Really good athleticism for his size. He has a very mean interior move. And I mean, if you're going to be playing, if Gus Bradley is your guy at DC for the next few years, then you're going to need to get pass rushers that can hit home, not just Kwity Paye and DeForest Buckner. You're going to need other guys to do that. So if they want to dip into that class, then that's fine. You could talk about a corner here. For me, like quarterback's kind of like I want that. And then we go to the Miami Dolphins, and they get Felix Anudike Uzama, who's been playing really good football this season for Kansas State. They go edge, the edge position for the Dolphins. It's been fine. Like the Dolphins, I feel like could go in a variety of different areas, and it would make sense. Like if they want to get more cornerback talent, like maybe Byron Jones is a cap casualty after this season. They really don't have good cornerback depth outside of that. They tried Nick Needham on the outside. He's a better slot guy. So they could go corner. We could talk about if like a guy like Trenton Simpson's still on the board, linebacker. We could talk about the offensive line. It's far from being finished. They still, like Liam Eichenberg hasn't been good this year. Greg Little hasn't been good filling in for Austin Jackson, who hasn't been good over the course of his career. We could talk about maybe I know Bijan will be in the back of some people's heads, and rightly so, but maybe Michael Mayer, Mike Gesicki, he's coming off the franchise tag. Maybe they don't bring him back and they want to get a guy that's probably a bit better as a blocker, so they get Michael Mayer. Like, there's a lot of options for this pick. I'm not gonna look two ways if they go somewhere, maybe outside of it being Bijan, just because Mike McDaniel historically, like, he tends to like get the most out of guys that are like day 3 picks or journeymen. I mean, shoot, Raheem Mostert just usurped Chase Edmonds, who was like the big free agent sign-in at running back for the Dolphins. 2 years, $14 million. So I think it was 2 years, $14 million. Go ahead, correct me in the comment section. And then Bijan goes to the Bucks here. This one's kind of interesting because, like, Fournette's been playing really good football. I think they really like Rachaad White, but though he's probably more of a change of pace guy. So they bring in Bijan here, I guess, ultimately to be a replacement for Fournette, though I don't think they have to do that. I think with this contract, I don't know if they can do that. Let's look at Leonard Fournette's contract. All right, we're going to go to Spot Rack. And yeah, I mean, he would result in $5 million in dead cap if they cut him before 2023, and really their only out is after the 2023 season, where it would alleviate only it would only be 1.5 million dead cap. So, like, I think Bengal brought up that this could be quarterback. Like, the Bucks could go a variety of different ways. Maybe they want to get a Gronk guy for Brady, so they go with oh my gosh, Michael Mayer. Or you can maybe go with the offensive line. Maybe they don't feel great about the depth they have there, at least the talent. On the interior there, you can talk about corner, Jamil Dean, Sean Murphy-Bunting, or guys that don't know if they could bring one, if not both of those guys back. So I just think there's a few different areas they can go. All right, and then the Chargers go Gervin Dexter. They need help in the run game. It's a problem that's been continually for the Chargers. So added more, even with all that they added this year on the interior. To be fair, there were low cost deals, but added more to that. Like, Gervin Dexter's been really good this season, so I like this pick. We go Paris Johnson here for the Jets. Keep in mind the Jets, you really don't know what you'll have in Mekhi Becton coming off of injury. Although Elijah Vera Tucker's played really good football at tackle. They seem to like Max Mitchell, though he's been kind of this year. Be fair, he's a rookie. Rookie tackles normally struggle. They do have George Fant, but I mean, that's another guy that they could probably move on from. So, like, Paris Johnson, I think is a logical conclusion here. You could also go, I mean, historically, Joe Douglas loves the trenches anyway, so going with a trench player. We could talk about maybe somewhere along the defensive line, maybe if there's an edge they like. We could talk about like safety, like the top safety's not off the board yet here, and whether it's Brian Branch or Antonio Johnson, though I think Brian Branch is a really good scheme fit. Kind of take over that. Is it LaMarcus Joyner? Take over that role for him. So a lot of different areas the Jets can go. And then Michael Mayer going to the Packers. So they do address a pass catch and threat for Aaron Rodgers. Keep in mind, Robert Tonyan is a free agent after the season. So maybe they do go Michael Mayer. He is probably one of the best values on the board. So I don't mind that. I like that. Baltimore Ravens go with Isaiah Foskey out of Notre Dame, going back-to-back with the Notre Dame prospects. I like this, man, because he's got high upside, great length, plays the run exceptionally well. We're starting to see him come alive as a pass rusher, which you love to see. It kind of like, it was after that Cal game was kind of like the, okay, here we go. This is the type of development and progression and production we wanted to see from Isaiah Foskey. You really have, I know you got David Ajabo, but he's really what this, like, you don't really know what you have in him. He just got returned to practice. We'll probably likely not see him this year, though we might see him in bits and pieces if they feel like he's healthy enough to go. You got to get someone next to Odafe Owe. With Foskey, a guy with a very versatile build that, who's to say you can't have guys like Ajabo, Foskey, and Odafe on the field all at the same time. Keep in mind, man, DC there, very creative. So I don't mind the pick. I like the pick. And I feel like this is about the area for Foskey. And moving on to the next set of picks here. We got Noah Sewell going to the Titans. And they really haven't found that Rashad Evans, that like, oh, this is our banger run stuffer. Rashad Evans kind of struggled a bit on the later parts of his career, but that's how they viewed him. Especially Arthur Smith. When Arthur Smith moved on to the Falcons, one of the guys he brought over was Rashad Evans, who's seeing a lot of time. But I get it. Noah Sewell, you look at him, he's a freight train. At that size, he moves so well. It's just the things that keep him out of the first round conversation for me is a lack of coverage prowess, which it's not a death nail for linebackers. It is if you're a missed tackle guy, and that's kind of been the case for Noah Sewell. He's been a missed tackle guy, just because he has this mentality where it's like, I want to run right through a ball carrier, and it's led to a lot of forced missed tackles. So that's kind of keeping him out of the first round discussion for me, but moves so well at what, like 250, 253, that it's like, it's hard to deny the type of athlete he is that he doesn't make it in the first round. And then Bengals, New York Giants go Quentin Johnston. So basically they're like, hey, Kenny Golladay kind of not good for us, so maybe we get off that bad contract and we go with a guy that's probably to a similar skill set in terms of he's a contested catch guy, go up and get it, bigger build, but he produces after the catch. Like, he's so hard to bring down. So, like, I like it. Quentin Johnston, man, I think, I really hope TCU, after, like, I was watching back his games, and it's just like they just didn't target him. It's like he wasn't productive because they just wouldn't go to him a lot. And then we see him emerge in this Kansas game, and I hope that's more so what we see the rest of the season from Quentin Johnston, because he's such a deadly threat when you throw the ball his way. Cowboys go Brian Branch, and I like this. He lists him as DB because he's mainly playing the slot, but he has the tools to get by at at safety. And we know Dallas doesn't really value the safety spot a lot, that typically they go for these budget deals like with Malik Hooker, Javon Curse, and they keep those guys. So it's like, I don't think it's likely Dallas goes with that at safety, but they get one of the, like, for me, my top safety on the board in Brian Branch. Antonio Johnson's right up there, who goes with the next pick here to the Chiefs, which I like their address on the defense, but I would like it more so if they do it on the defensive line, whether it's with edge rusher or interior. Get Frank Clark out of there. Get someone next to Chris Jones, because they still feel the need to play Chris Jones on the edge sometimes, just to try to like move him around to free him up from double teams. I mean, they brought in Justin Reed. They have Juan Thornhill. They have L'Jarius Sneed there that can play outside, play in the slot. So I get it. Maybe this is a team that really loved to play three safeties, and sometimes would bring in like Daniel Sorensen when he was struggling. They brought him as like their dime linebacker, which could be the case for Antonio Johnson. He's got the size to be a dime linebacker if they want to go back to more three safety sets. So I understand the pick. And let's see what we got for the final bit of this mock draft. If you don't know, now you know. The Dolphins forfeited their first round pick because they're stupid. So the Vikings go with Joey Porter. I don't mind bringing more competition in and more talent to the cornerback position. Such a volatile position. And I know they got a ton of young guys, but if you keep adding that talent, that's fine. It could also go with receiver, someone maybe to eventually replace Adam Thielen or challenge KJ Osborne. There we go. There's a variety of different ways the Vikings could go. Joey Porter is just really good value at this point. And then the Buffalo Bills go Josh Downs. And I don't know about this. Like, I get it, man. Like, they get a guy that's very excited in the slot, though. They really love Isaiah McKenzie in that role. Khalil Herbert really showed out this last game because Jameson Crowder has been banged up. So it's like, I feel like they got enough players challenging for that. Like, Josh Downs, for me, is going to be a slot guy in the NFL. He's not like this Jahan Dotson where it's like, oh, he can win on the outside. Jahan Dotson kind of proved that in college, despite his size. I don't think Josh Downs is the same caliber of player. But if you're looking for a guy that's twitched up as an athlete, that can really be that guy in the slot that can tear the roof off of defenses or burn them underneath, then I think he's that guy. It's just for Buffalo, I think there's other areas you can go. You could dip into the interior class because their guard position has been really good this past year. The top two safeties are kind of off the board, so you probably won't go with that. Maybe you dip into linebacker. Maybe you dip into... I think there's a case to be made. They still want to maybe address more so on the defensive line. Could get a big meaty guy because they don't really have that big meat in the middle there. And like Siaki Ika might be a guy here. So like the Buffalo Bills really could go wherever the heck they want. And then the Eagles, they're going Jordan Battle with their pick. Jordan Battle's a really good safety. I don't think he's a good scheme fit for Jonathan Gannon because Battle, I think he's a guy you want to consistently get into man coverage on tight ends or running backs out the backfield, have him play a little bit around the line of scrimmage because the dude lays the lumber. And I don't see that being really a good fit for Gannon or for the Eagles in general. What did he go with? What did he go with the Eagles pick? Here, let me backtrack here. Trent Simpson. So it's like, yeah, why not go with the corner class? Like, I don't know, man, because Clark Phillips, I don't think has the size to play this style of coverage for the Eagles, or at least on the outside. If we're talking about other corners, you could also make a case for Tyreek Stevenson. DJ Turner, he's a bit undersized, but he's more of this man coverage guy, so maybe like Garrett Williams. Like, there's other areas with the top two safeties off the board I might be more willing to go. We could even talk with the defensive line. There's a lot of good prospects available here on the defensive line that they can go. So I might just go different. Wow, this video is getting long. I got to talking for a while. Can't help it. I like talking draft. But let me know what you think. Join us for the watch along tomorrow, where we take we're going to be watching Michigan versus Penn State. It's going to be a load of fun. But as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.